Welcome back to The Real Grind, guys. Today, we are going to celebrate friendship. Italo, how is it cool to have to get work with you, man? Because if you don't know, I know Italo for a long time now. And before we worked together, we were actually friends.
Absolutely. And it's cool, like, have you ever thought about it? One of our furthest memories that we have are with friends.
That's true.
Since like kindergarten, man, there's one person you connect with, and a lot of people are lucky enough to have that person as a friend for the rest of their lives. And from that little friendship, a lot of things blossom from there. It can be just like they become family, they become partners for work, and all these different things, man. Friendship is a great thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing, but sometimes a bad thing, because right now you actually annoy me with coffee.
Well, you created a monster, as I always say. You created a monster. You gotta feed it now. But that's what friendship is all about, right? Because we're always honest with each other. We know we can trust each other. I can call you any time of the day, any time of the night. We're there for each other, to support each other, the dreams, and then like anything we need, friends are there for it, man.
That's true. And you know, I love to see friends here in the show. We had Dante before, and this next guy that we're gonna bring here, he's also a guy that I click with him and connect, a super successful guy. Can't really share his story, but before, let's get the show started. Let's go.
Waking up to success, now we getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on, go and make coffee. The real grind, this is the real grind. Let's go.
This is the real grind. Let's go. So he's seasoned expert in real estate industry, dedicated to helping individuals achieve benefits of property ownership. He founded Flat Fee Landlord in 2011. His success will serve over 2,000 real estate investors with more than 4,000 tenants. 2012 expanded his ventures, Hashem Realty, residential sales and leasing brokerage. 2019 expanded to multifamily, now vertically integrated, founder and CEO of Hazel Equity. Welcome on the stage, Mo Hashem. Let's go. Hey, my brother, man. Mo, dude, how are you, brother?
Wow, man, amazing, man. I'm doing great. The whole friendship thing was about me?
That was about you, bro.
Whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
It's you.
I didn't know we were like that.
Okay, so you know when you have a girlfriend that she doesn't know when you're kids, right? So apparently I was a friend and you didn't know.
So let me say this, Neander. I remember, we've known each other for what, like 3-4 years or so?
About that, yeah.
And so I remember it was in Atlanta last year, and you came up to me. We were at a mastermind together, and you were like, "Hey, you know, I got this idea about having a podcast with coffee and real estate and all that stuff." And you know, in my mind, I was like, "All right, yeah, that sounds pretty cool, right?" And then I didn't know at that point what that really meant. You know, what I saw, and I walk in here, and man, this is amazing what you got going on here, man. This is far beyond what I was thinking. But honestly, at this point, I expect nothing less from you, because, you know, if your listeners know you, they will. When you do something, you go all in, and this is amazing. So thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate
it.
that.
And like, you know, I didn't remember that conversation because probably it was a couple cocktails in, but I was talking about it, man. And that was a dream of ours, like this desire of doing something. And like, I always loved this kind of show kind of setup. And I don't know, man, it just came on the ways of the coffee idea, and now it's here. And, you know, we get tons of value from people like yourself, and they sit in that chair and share with their audience, share with us. Just it's been a fantastic experience, you know, and I know you also personally, and we share on this group that we are together. And your story has been, you're a rock star, dude. You don't do anything small either, right? Like, look at this. Like, it took me 5 minutes to read his bio, because it's like it's a lot of accomplishments here, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, and I think that's the power of, you know, so who do you surround yourself with, right?
Sure.
At the end of the day. So you want to be around people that are always constantly pushing you, leveling up. And, you know, they always say, like, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most,
Absolutely.
right? So, no, man, I value our friendship so much, and man, I feel so special with the friendship.
Let's go,
episode,
man.
So,
Yeah. And I want to rewind a little bit and go back to the beginnings, man. Where are you from? Where your beginnings, where you lived, and
yeah. So I was was born and raised in Northern Virginia, which is just outside of Washington, D.C. And my parents were immigrants, actually, from Afghanistan. They came to the country when the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, came to this country with literally nothing, right? And so I had some pretty humble beginnings. We didn't have a whole lot growing up, but went to school. I was really into sports, played football and lacrosse growing up. Went to school at West Virginia University, got a degree in something that I use like not at all on a daily basis. So
what degree was it?
Political science. Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah. You know, we graduated. So, but I will say this about school, that I while I was in school, I started a painting company. And so when I did that, I did it for a year, and taught me a lot about entrepreneurship and how not to run a business. And so learned a lot of valuable lessons from there that I still carry on today. And then after that, after I graduated, I got a job working at a car rental company. Did that for a while and did really well. They had this really good training program where they taught you how to run a business. You learned sales, marketing, management, but they also taught you some of the things that you don't really, less desirable things. So like you would have to come to work dressed like, you're in a suit. You'd come to work dressed in a suit, but you would also have to like wash and clean the cars in your suit. Sometimes it'd be 100 degrees outside and you're like sweating in a suit washing this car. And, there were days where I was like, I went to school to wash cars in 100-degree weather in a suit, but that's after that, I started my first real estate company, Flat Fee Landlord. And when you start a company at first, there are going to be some times where you're doing stuff like that, right? Yeah. So it primed me for that, and I have nothing but good experiences.
So was that entrepreneur? Because right after college, you started the painting company. So you always had the desire of entrepreneurship, or? Yeah,
I mean, so there were members of my family that had started like restaurants and done stuff like that. I think I've never been like a school person, right? I've always wanted to kind of do my own thing and have freedom. And so running a business was always interesting to me. And when we did the painting company, even though like I don't even remember, like so many hours a week doing this, at the end of it, like you run a business to make money, right?
Right.
At the end of the summer, I made no money, right? Like it was, I don't even think I broke even. So, but the taste of the freedom I had from doing it stuck with me. And once you like have a business and you like pour your heart and soul into it, it just does something to you. And so that's why after I actually got a job and something happened afterwards, I was like, I'm not working for anybody anymore. Right. I want to do it for myself.
That's amazing, dude. And all those ventures that we keep trying, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Like entrepreneur is always an entrepreneur, and sometimes it's interesting to see people that started a truly entrepreneur. They started at one thing and finish on that same thing, right? Usually they have to try a few things and venture off, and here you are, man, doing something, a lot massive, and you impacting a lot of people, those tenants and investors now and stuff. So amazing, dude, amazing.
Thank you.
And what did you learn from that to washing a car with a suit?
Man, so I learned from washing a car in a suit. I don't know, wear light clothing, I guess. I don't know, like that. No,
bro, the perseverance, right?
For sure. No, I mean, there would be days like, we would work almost 10-hour days sometimes, and we did whatever to make our customer happy, right? Yeah. That's what it came down to, and that's what it taught me, is just show up, do it. And the other thing was, like, I wasn't always by myself. Like, we had people working with us, coworkers, and we were doing it, so we would make it fun, man. Like, we would just sit there and like make fun of each other, like we're washing the car and like at late in the day. And so we made it fun, and that's what life is, man. That's what I learned, is just make it fun. Whatever situation you're in, it's up to you how you want to frame it, right? Either Absolutely. It sucks or it doesn't, and it's up to you. And so we try to make it fun.
That's awesome, dude. And I can't wait to touch now about how you started those business, man. Now the real business,
the real
one with the Flat Fee Landlord. But before that, guess what time? Do you like coffee, by the way?
Yeah. I'm afraid to say yes because I know you guys know a lot more about it than I do, but
Look, Italo, you've been intimidating folks out here, man. Look at him.
he
He's
is
scared.
intimidating. He's a very intimidating guy, yeah.
But guess what time? It's coffee time. Let's go.
Mo, very good
Hello.
to having you here, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming. And
Italo, you gotta be more easy on those folks, man. You gotta be like, how to...
what did I do?
Hey, I do have a question, Italo, for you.
What's up?
Because we've known each other for a little bit too. Not as close as,
Neander.
we're acquaintances, not
Yeah.
friends yet,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm messing with you. But Italo, where are you from? Italy? Or is that me just being stupid? Like, I'd be like, Mo, you're from Morocco.
No, this is a very interesting question. So the name Italo, it was just my mom not letting my dad pick the name because my dad was awful at it. He gave her a list of 5 or 6, and my mom was like, no, quit it. You made the baby, now let me choose the name. And she was flipping pages on this magazine. It was called Pais e Filhos, which is like fathers and sons, or parents and sons in Brazil. And she liked the name. But it means someone that came from Italy. So if there's an Italo-American association, those are all the Italians that are in the U.S. and such.
So imagine the Italian will pronounce his name, Italo.
Right, the hint needs to come.
It needs to
And
come.
this is the second cool thing. I have friends right now in Italy, and it happens every single time. Every time they're there, it's like, look, we're writing you. Because the train system there is called Italo. So they always take a picture of the train, they send it to me. So it's I get that question a lot.
Jay used to say that when he was like, "Oh, what's his name? Italo? No," and I was like, "It's Italy with oh."
Yeah.
But the fun thing is, every time I used to work as a medical recruiter, I spelled my name at least 25 times a day, and I'll be like, "Oh, it's Italo, like Italy, drop the Y and put an O. Oh, Italio." I was like, "No, you're supposed to drop the Y." But that's the story of my name, man. I make it very difficult for people, but it sticks, so that's a good thing.
Guess what? You just been doing.
What?
Doing. Stupid.
But so coffee. Let's talk coffee here. Morocco, you said, right?
No, Afghanistan. I was just saying if
I'm
my
pulling
name.
your leg as you pull mine on.
Yeah.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You guys are big in coffee in there.
I don't know. I've never been.
Really?
So, yeah, I was born here, never been back.
Right on. So yeah, there's a lot of coffee there, and I see that they make it different. Like I've even seen people make it on sand.
Oh, yeah.
They get
The
the hot sand, and they put like it's. I don't think we can get hot sanding here, but the name of this coffee is Dune. So I got this again from the guys from Trade, and I'm excited about this one here. It's very different. Have you ever had specialty coffee before?
No.
No.
Especially, no.
What kind of coffee do you drink in the morning? If you do drink coffee. In the
No,
morning.
I do drink. I'm a big coffee drinker, but we do. I mean, I make like a bulletproof coffee.
Oh, right
in the
on.
morning. Yeah.
I mean, that thing is a punch.
It is. Yeah, and then Starbucks when I'm out. So.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, let's.
He just raised his nose at me like.
It was like,
But what do you get at Starbucks though?
I just do either the blonde roast or the.
all right.
Oh, okay. So you're not getting like the.
No, I don't get the fancy stuff. Just straight black coffee.
Right on. Okay. So what we're gonna do with this one here, this is gonna be interesting because neither me or Neander have had this coffee before. Look at the top of it. You can see all the oils just floating in there. That's kind of what you want in the coffee.
Okay.
And we're gonna try this like wine. Give it a good smell. And now just slurp on it and let it kind of sit on your tongue for a little bit.
This one is different, dude.
Wow.
This is so different. This has a lot of body on it. A lot of body.
Yes,
So
but very citrusy too.
It is.
It's good.
the notes in there is what caught my attention. If you have to guess what kind of flavors or what did you notice in there? Let's see if you.
Like he said, citrusy. So it's a little bit. I mean, coffee is bitter always, kind of a little bit, right? But
On this one, it's more on the acidic side than bitter.
okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that comes from the notes.
Okay.
But this one,
So the suggestion notes that say it is strawberry and cherry. So imagine this. You know, in the strawberry, the top part there's a little bit green. Now drink it again. You definitely feel it.
No, I just did. I actually, when you said that, I could taste the cherry after I tasted
and
that.
the cool thing about this type of coffee is the cooler it gets, the different it tastes. So, but it usually tastes better. But it's a type of coffee that is just not. It's kind of like wine. What I tell people: when you first drink wine, you like the sugary wine, the sweet wine, and as you graduate your taste buds, you start looking for something more like this, where you're gonna really notice the notes of the coffee, what the coffee has to deliver for you. This is interesting. I'm kind of. I want to make a latte with this one. I think all the flavors and everything.
This is not my kind of latte coffee. I like just to drink it like that because citrus, when it's more of a dark chocolate, that's the one I like with
Yeah.
it.
So what? Because a lot of people, they drink the coffee. I mean, the taste is great, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of people are doing it for the caffeine, right? So how does this stack up with?
Big time. So I don't know the numbers on bulletproof coffee, but this would give you more caffeine than espresso would.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, because caffeine needs temperature and time to be released. So whenever you make espresso, it has usually like 9 bar of pressure in there, and it's just hot water going through, and you get a lot of flavor. So a lot of people don't like espresso because espresso has so much information in a tiny cup that a lot of people, that's overwhelming for them. So it's easier to drink coffee like this than to drink espresso. But once you start appreciating coffee and you understand all that information that is within the cup, it makes it easier. But all that to say that whenever you make espresso, 18 grams of coffee, 2 little cups, you make espresso with 18 grams, you make a pour over like I did with 18 grams, you're gonna get almost double the amount of caffeine on a pour over than you would in espresso.
Wow. I learned something.
Yeah, so it's a lot of that placebo effect. You drink something strong and bitter, and you're like, oh my God, I got my shot of caffeine for the day, but this will deliver a lot more caffeine for you than the other ones. Cool deal?
I told you.
Hey, I'm done nerding. I'm done nerding it out in here. Glad you like the coffee, man. I want to hear more
I
of
didn't
your.
say if I liked it or not, but yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Give it a no, 0 to 10.
0 to 10. Give it an 8.
8's good.
Yeah, that's
Eight's
good.
good. Yeah,
good.
but
I'd drink it again.
give me a little something here. Not gonna leave here empty-handed as you drink coffee in the morning. Here's something from us.
Oh wow, man! Thank
There
you.
you go. You bet.
Appreciate you guys.
There's a mug in there, and if you want some coffee to take home, I get you some coffee in the end as well. And I want to keep hearing the stories, man. The guy was washing cars in the suit and stuff.
That's cool, man. But wait until this next part. You see
I'm
today.
excited. Again,
Hey,
thank you so much,
thanks
Mo.
again, man.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Let's go.
Hey guys, real quick before we continue. So if you want to learn a little bit more how to get started on investing in real estate today, please go to their website, multifamilyempire.com. And if you also want to learn how to do the best cup of coffee in your own home, we're going to teach you a lot of tips and tricks. Go to multifamilyempire.com/the real grind. Let's get back to that interview. All right. So 2011, man, the Flat Fee Landlord. Talk to me a little bit about that venture.
Yeah. So, after I got done working my job, well, let me kind of go back to that real quick. So the reason I stopped was in 2010, my dad ended up getting sick. And I was always one of the top performers for that company in our region. But when he got sick, I started spending more time with him. And obviously, I didn't know how much longer I would be with him. And it took me out of work for a while. And when that happened, our branch's performance started going down a little bit, right? During that time also, my boss's boss ended up getting promoted and replaced with somebody else. And so I remember after my father ended up passing away, I came back to work, and it was like, a couple of days after, my boss shows up along with the new boss. They come into my office, and the first conversation is they're sitting in front of me saying, "Hey, Mo, I'm sorry for your loss, but your performance needs to improve, or we're gonna have to make some changes." And like, that's the first thing, right? So for me, it didn't sit too well for me. Like, this guy didn't know me, didn't know he had an asset, working here. And so all I needed probably was just a little bit of time to get back to where we were. And but at that point, I was just like, as long as I'm working for somebody, this can always happen, right?
Yeah.
My destiny is in somebody else's hands.
Something shifts on the leadership, and then like you're screwed.
Yeah. So that's when I was like, all right, I'm gonna work for myself. If I'm gonna put all these hours, 60, 70 hours a week, might as well do it for myself, build the equity in myself. So I wanted to do something. I didn't know what. And going back into college, I remember there was a time when I was dating my girlfriend, who's my wife now. She rented. I never rented up until that point, but I remember sitting in her apartment, and it was the first of the month, and the landlord was going around knocking on everybody's doors.
Really?
And he came around to hers, knocked on the door, and she handed him like a $600 check. And he said, thank you, and walked off. And I was sitting there, I was like, I want that job.
Do that?
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is he doing? Like, that's all he does is just go around and pick up checks. So I remembered that, and I was like, you know, when I wanted to leave work, I was like, let me do something that's eventually going to give me freedom. So I saw real estate as that. And so I looked into, did some research, you know, if I wanted to get into real estate investing, what should I do? At that point, really the only thing I read was like, get a real estate license. So I got a real estate license and went out and tried to sell homes.
And that was back in Virginia.
Yeah, in Virginia still. Yeah. So so I go out, do some listing presentations with some folks. Again, we're still kind of coming out of that 08, 09 crash. Not a whole lot of people have equity in their homes yet. So I would get to the end and tell them, hey, this is how much you have to come to the table to be able to sell.
Yeah.
And they're like, Mo, I can't do that. Like, I don't got that money. So after about the 100th time of hearing that, I was like, well, all right, well, what are you going to do? You got to move. Like, your job's transferring you, whatever. And they're like, well, I think I'm just going to rent out my house for a while, have the tenant cover the mortgage or as much as possible. And then when the market picks back up, I'll sell it at that point, right? So that's when like the, you know, like the light bulb goes off in your head. Yeah, ding. I was like, all right, well, what if I do it for you? And tried it with the first person. I'm like, all right, do it. So that's where Flat Fee Landlord started. We started helping out what we call accidental landlords, people that didn't really intend to rent out their home. So we're in Virginia. The DC metro area includes Virginia, Maryland, and DC. So got all three of those states going. And then about 5 years ago, we're like, hey, let's see what we can do with this. So we expanded. So that's when we moved to Texas. It's a great state to, you know, all the growth and all the reasons why we do multifamily.
Yeah.
So ended up in Houston. That's where I live now. Open up our office there. Have an office in Dallas, Fort Worth here. Also Austin, San Antonio. And then we just opened an office in Atlanta this year as well.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So you just like a turnkey person that have a house, they want to sell it, can't sell it. You just offer the management, everything that's related to somebody to rent the house.
Yeah. So, you know, we're starting to shift now. What we tell people is like, we want to give people, everyday people, all the benefits of owning real estate without the headaches of being the actual landlord, right? And so whether it's through Flat Fee Landlord or our new company, Hazel Equity, if somebody has a home, and you can be a real estate investor too, like that was the time at that point. They're accidental landlords. And actually, because of what's happening with interest rates, we're seeing that kind of come up again, where people bought a year or two ago and real estate prices were a lot higher a year or two ago. And so if they need to move, and
is that clients that have actually portfolios that they're assigned to you, or homes, single families?
We have some investors that may have like up to like 5 to 10 home rent houses that they've collected over time, and we'll rent those. We're the face of the property for them. So the owner just sits back and all they do is collect checks, like, you know,
like what you wanted to.
Yeah, like what I wanted to do, right? So now I'm doing the work and I'm doing it for our clients. So, but yeah,
that's awesome, dude. That's really good. Very creative, you know, the way, because how Deli started. She was the accidental landlord, right? She had a house that in Boston. She was planning to leave. She was already planning it out. She was like, I'm gonna meet Neander down the road, and you know. So, but we never end up moving out there, and put tenants. She was self-managing, but luckily it was very good tenants. But I know the headaches of being a landlord sometimes, man. You know, having to do with the three things, which was the termite toilets and what's the other one? Tenants, termites, and toilets. Yeah. And having a turnkey. And what about this business? And I do want to get to the multifamily, but what is your expansion and what is your five-year goals like for expansion of that particular business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, you know, we do plan to expand. So actually we have a mission statement that we've created in-house with our company, and we want to have 20,000 units under management, sell 500 homes while maintaining a 30% profit margin throughout that time by 2033. Is what we're trying to get to. So what we will get to, by the way. So to do that, we do need to expand into other markets. I generally like the major metropolitan markets. And, there's more competition when you go in there. But at the end of the day, if you're bringing something that nobody else has,
Sure.
there's no competition, right? So,
And the level of customer service too, because if the owners of those houses trust you, that is all about the trust.
yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you bring that up. That's one of our core values is trust, right? And so that's like, if you don't have trust, like with your property management company as an owner, like we're handling your money. We're handling your biggest asset. It's your home, right? Most people, you have more money sunk into that than anything else. And
Sure.
if you don't trust the people that's handling it, or if they do something to compromise that, then you're in trouble. So we always have to make sure we do that. And like I said, our mission is to try to get as many people all the benefits of real estate without actually being the landlord. Otherwise, you're going to end up looking like you with...
No hair.
Yeah.
You know, when I get stressed here with my companies,
like
I don't
you.
have any more hair to pull other than my hands and chest.
I was going to say look like you looking beautiful, but you said the hair part, man, not me.
Right? Did you hear that, Plaque?
All you need is love and great hair.
See?
Well, you got the love part.
Okay, so on the multifamily, bro, was it something personal or was a business strategy for you when you get started on the multifamily sector?
Yeah, great question. So for me, it wasn't until I got to Texas and I started networking with like people like you. I didn't even know multifamily investing was a thing.
Yeah.
Like on the East Coast, where I'm from, is specifically in Northern Virginia, we had more condos. We didn't really have apartment buildings.
Yeah.
So and the apartment buildings that were there, they were owned by the big institutions, and so that was never even mindset, like not even a thing, right? Until I got here and I talked to you, and you're like, yeah, I own this 200-unit apartment complex. I'm like, you do? I was like,
Yeah. No hair, and you own the.
So got to networking with people, got to learn, educated myself, through mentorship and all that stuff. And so for me, like I said, I always wanted to grow a single family empire, right? But after I started managing single family homes, I realized actually that's not really where I want to put my money.
Yeah.
It's not. You don't have too much control over it. And so when I learned about multifamily investing and how you can...
Then it was a personal decision. Like, it wasn't business strategy, like expanding your business. Because you're now vertically integrated with property management. But my question was like, when you started, you saw this as like creating wealth for me and my family,
Yeah.
or a business strategy?
No,
like,
I
I want to
mean-
expand my business to the multifamily sector.
Yeah. So no, it started off personal. Personal is just like, hey, this is the way I'm going to grow the money I make from this business.
Yes.
Here,
Okay.
preserve it and grow it and multiply it. But once I started doing it, I was like, well, it's actually not too different than what I do anyways. So
Sure.
then it turned into strategy at that point of like, all right, well, if I'm going to do this on this side, might as well, it's the same thing, might as well do it. So it eventually turned into business also.
And, obviously you had the experience of the property management.
Right.
And how did that turn? You
Yeah.
took over on in-house.
Yeah. So there's some learning curve to go from one asset class to the other. At the end of the day, you are dealing with residents and, you said the 3 T's and all that stuff. So that doesn't change. But, you are dealing with a different tenant base when you're working with some apartments versus on the single family side. And so a little bit of change, everything has pros and cons. With the multifamily, you have the on-site management, right? And everything's there. You have on-site maintenance. With single family, it's scattered, so it's all over the place. And so, each has its pros and cons. At the end of the day, once you start and you learn it, like you get through it, and it's.
And how long has it been that you start Hazel Property Management?
Yeah, so Hazel Equity and Hazel Management, we started about 3 years ago. So
So you started together. First property was like, let's go vertical.
yeah, we started off, and then first actually we started out with a third-party manager initially, and
And they sucked.
I
said it for you. It's okay.
well, listen, at the end of the day, I think you've heard this before. Like, nobody cares about something you own more than the owner.
Absolutely.
Right?
I agree with that 100%.
You've got so much of your own money into it, but more importantly, you got your you got your friends, family, whoever, it doesn't matter. You got somebody else's money in there, and if somebody else isn't treating it the way it should with the same urgency that they should, then you got to step in and roll your sleeves up, and you got to do it yourself sometimes. And that's what we did. And now we just want to scale that as we go.
That's awesome, man. And what is that 5-year goal for that business on multifamily side?
Yeah, so I mean, it falls in line with our mission, right? So the 20,000 units under management.
Oh, that's all across the board.
That's across the board, yeah. So we want part of that to be obviously on the multifamily side and part of that on the single family side too.
Awesome, dude. What a fascinating, And at this time of this recording now, what is your appetite for new multifamily deals, man?
Oh, man. Listen, there are deals out there, and, I got to be kind of careful because I know you're doing a deal right now. So
yeah, man, pump it up.
No, listen, I think real estate is one of those things where you have to look at it long term. Real estate's a long term thing. If you're going to look at it short term, it's not for you, right? Real estate's a long term thing. And time again, it doesn't matter. From what I know, any 10-year period in time, if you would have bought real estate and held it through that time, you're going to make money,
sure.
Right? And so as long as you got the right debt, as long as you got the right team, I think you're going to be successful. It doesn't matter what you bought it at or what time frame. So. And
I count about being conservative too, right? Being conservative, especially in times like this, and the fundamentals doesn't change.
Right.
And in the mid of crashes, people got extremely successful buying during a recession. Because they knew what they're doing. They were not buying off emotions. They were just buying out of, numbers.
Yep.
And, I'm not the most numbers person, but Dell is the numbers person. And she, leveraged her experience and on this industry, being extremely conservative and leveraging your team, right? The team, the multifamily, the team that is behind you as a multifamily operator, owner, as yourself, how important it is to have a good team behind you with the good loan brokers and, for lawyers and all that stuff, that brokers that can really analyze and look what kind of deal you're stepping yourself to, and the recipe, looking at a lot of data, on that market specifically. And I think for one of our advantages for being vertically integrated on a construction side too, it's a huge advantage because those are, 1979 class assets, right? 80s. So definitely needs that touch there. Be able to have that advantage point versus.
You bring up a great point because, this is what I was going to bring up with you is, you are vertically integrated also on the construction side. Yes. And so that's important. I think when investors are looking for deals to invest in, everything you just talked about is super important. The team is important. My team is so valuable to me, man. I tell people I run a property management company, but if you called me and told me to unclog your toilet, I'm still calling somebody. I don't, that's not, I don't know how to do it, right? But I got people on my team that know how to handle that stuff. And so that's important, your track record. But with the vertically integrated, kind of like me, I know you're the same way. If something isn't going right, you're going to step in and you're going to do something, right? And that's, I think, what separates operators versus just syndicators at the end of the day, where they're just putting the money and they're just hoping somebody does something well. This is life. Things don't go perfect all Absolutely. The time. And when something happens, you got to have somebody that they can trust and step in.
Times like this too is we are living on, times that you could call it difficult, whatever, but we have to be hands-on and conservative and being, back in the days, people would just buy those assets, fall asleep, and woke up and shit, I've doubled my money. My investors have done nothing to the
those
property,
are good times, right?
Right, and no more. So I think those principles there, definitely, it's key right now to be the hands-on conservative and having a good team. And dude, one thing that I really appreciate about you, Bo, on our conversations and our meetings on our groups, that how passionate you are of your team. You're super extremely passionate. Especially nowadays, when we had a call, I think it was this week, and you just bright your eyes when you talk about the growth of your team, how you guys are doing stuff together. And I appreciate that, man. So talk a little bit about your team.
Oh, my team is everything, man. This is something I've learned through my 10, 12 years in business is at first you start a business, you're by yourself, right? You're wearing a lot of hats, doing everything. And you can only go so far doing things yourself, right? And so the team is, you got to have the right people in there. And sometimes you're not going to have the right people, and that's okay. Like, not everybody gets along, and that's
Fits.
okay. Yeah, not everybody's a fit, but I think that, there's a book out there where it's like, you got to have the right people on the right seats in the right bus, right? And so you're going to have to go through all that. It's a learning curve, but once you have them and you got people that are just as passionate as you are, it's like, I show up to work because of them. At the end of the day, like, they motivate me. And so I love my team, and ultimately we're going to get there together. And that's what I tell them. It's like, this isn't just, I'm going to eat and that's it. Like, we are all going to eat, and they buy into it because it's true. Like, we're going to make it happen. So
That's awesome, dude. Congratulations on that. The team, the business is success, brother. I admire you a lot. Thank you. But I have a question for you. Why'd you make me buy a stupid Apple Watch?
So first of all, I didn't make you do anything. That's,
Yes,
I didn't.
you did.
I didn't.
You make me feel like shit. And I was like, I was doing something wrong. That's passive aggressive, bro.
No, man, that's your own. What is it when you're? I forget the word, but that's your own mental that made you think that way. But
no, I'm kidding, dude. Come on.
I know you are. I know you are, man. Listen, man, the Apple Watch, like, hey, I think it starts with physical activity, right? And so motivating yourself, whatever trick you want to come up with to motivate yourself to do anything. I'm gonna send you messages through that Apple Watch.
Right, and I love the competitiveness because I actually started doing more activities now, and it's something that we get so focused, especially growing the business, man. Like we sometimes work so hard, so many hours, and all we do is work, and we forget.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm trying to get better at it. I know that when we went to that trip, we did the cold plunge. I did cold plunge with Italo too. He hated it.
Him to do that.
No, we did it together. I think
we did it together. It was tough, man. But that thing was groundbreaking for me as far as like my comfort zone. I despise cold weather. I despise getting cold water. In the end, actually, it comes back to the whole friend thing, right? I trust him. He's like, do it, man. You're gonna love it.
You faced, right?
I faced like fears and like being out of my comfort zone, and it sucks when I'm there. But once I'm out, I look at him. He's like, I told you, and that's like the trust right there. I was like, yeah, man, exactly what you said, and that cold plunge thing. So I got somebody to blame now. So it's not Neander, it's Mo.
So Mo, I love to see stuff like that when we empower each other, and like we're part of this group, a small group that we empower each other, we help each other and advise, and also see my team growth and see your team growth, and it makes me so happy, dude.
Yeah. No, and dude, that's what I'm talking about, the team, right? Like, you guys are pushing each other to take it to the next step, and I'm glad you did that. So
good.
That's awesome.
But now is the time that we're gonna put you on a spot, and the honest would like to know a little bit about you, bro. This is Spilling the Beans with Mo. We got candlelights here for you, man.
I feel like
Hey.
who wants to be a millionaire?
Let's get it on.
Hey, we're not that close of friends yet, man.
I know. Well, right off the bat, Apple Watch or Garmin Fenix?
Apple Watch.
No shit.
Yeah.
Hashem Realty or Hazel Equity?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Hazel Equity.
Houston or Dallas?
Dallas. Seriously. Like, I'm in Houston. Why would I say anything but Houston?
Because you hate Houston. I know you want to live in Dallas, bro.
I do love Dallas, but I live in Houston, man. I can't.
Cold plunge or cryotherapy?
Cold plunge.
Gymnastics or swimming?
Oh man, I get a fair share of gymnastics with my daughters. Like, you're asking if I'm doing gymnastics? Yeah, I'll watch gymnastics, I guess.
Okay, we got girls. Pink or purple?
Purple. Yeah, they both like purple.
All right. So you got girls. So Elsa or Cinderella?
Elsa.
Right, everybody. I asked the question for Elsa. Everybody likes Elsa.
I mean, Cinderella is like...
It's the classic, bro.
Yeah,
you used to watch Cinderella when you were a kid, so...
Yeah. Well, I mean, you asked about my kids, not about me.
No,
I would pick Cinderella all day, but...
All right, Cinderella it is. That completes the spilling the beans with Mo. That was too easy, man. We gotta... He's sweating, bro. Look at him.
I know.
You got the...
That completes the spinning the bean with Mo. Let's go. Mo, if you were to have to give advice to the guy that was there washing the cars with the suit, the guy today who give that advice there, what would you have to say? Look at camera 3.
Wow. I would say to not be afraid to think big and dream big, but more importantly, act big, right? Take big actions, right? So, you can do anything. Don't limit yourself. The only thing limiting yourself is yourself and your own mindset. I would say surround yourself with people that you really enjoy their company. People are going to challenge you. People are going to push you to get to the next level of your journey. Find coaches, credible coaches and mentors that can help speed up your journey to wherever you want to get to. But at the same time, with that journey, like, remember to pick your head up every now and then, live in the moment, and just don't let life fly by, really appreciate what you got. And then I think the last thing I would tell myself is it's more of a warning. Like, at some point, this beautiful, bald Brazilian saxophonist is going to approach you to come on his coffee show, and you need to just turn around and run. So that's my final warning I would give myself.
Indeed, man, bro. Prediction, right? Crystal ball right there.
Yeah, I gotta give myself a warning,
That's right. That's
it's not
right.
just advice, it's a warning too.
Bro, thank you so much for the friendship, dude. And yes, I really appreciate you, and I admire you for your accomplishments. How can people get to know your businesses and stuff?
Yeah, just go to our website, hazelequity.com. There's a link there that you can set up a call, or also my email is mo@hazelequity.com, like the color hazel. So, yeah.
All right. And thank you so much for watching the show today, guys. This is The Real Grind. Doesn't get any realer than that. Keep tuned and let's go.
As always, thank you so much for watching to The Real Grind, or listen to, if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform. Remember, friendship goes long ways. You just witness friendship right there to the T, and surround yourself by great people. Surround yourself with a great team. That's gonna take you so far, and you can see a result right here on The Real Grind. We're all friends. We bring friends together. We become team. And I guess by now we're over 20 episodes deep, so I guess you're my friend too. So stay tuned. There's more of that coming on The Real Grind. Give us a like on Instagram. Give us a like on this YouTube video. And as always, thank you so much for watching. This is The Real Grind. Let's go.
Waking up to success, now we getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gourmet coffee, the real grind. This is the real grind. Let's go.